Welcome to Bible Academics. My name is Richard Musinguzi. Have you had a wonderful love experience with your spouse-to-be? But after tying the knot, the love you had for your spouse seemed to have evaporated. Then perhaps The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman is a book you need to think of reading in this week. But before, please remember to subscribe on my channel and also to share with your friends, because when you subscribe, you support this ministry. So God bless you. Let's go straight into the book. So who is Gary D. Chapman? Gary D. Chapman is an American author and also a radio talk show host. He's also a pastor of a church called Baptist Church in North Carolina. You can also go on Google and find out more of his details. After 30 years of ministry in marriage counseling, Gary Chapman has concluded that all spouses need the 5 love languages if they are to be effective communicators of love. Yes, love language number 1 is words of affirmation. Now, Gary Chapman quotes like this. He says that the object of love is not getting something you want, but actually giving something for the well-being of others. Now, in words of affirmation, there are 3 things I've actually observed which are very important, which I will also try to relate with my own relationship with my wife. One of them that Gary Chapman talks about is encouraging words. Now, encouraging words are very important in words of affirmation, especially with people who are trying to tap into their potential. A good example with me, especially, my wife is pursuing certain things in her career, and whenever she tries to give me a brief of what she's trying to do with her career, I try to encourage her. Maybe she's applying for a job and I tell her, honey, you can make it. Just keep trying, to work out. Maybe she's trying to tell me how the colleagues at work are stressed, and I try to tell her, no, just be patient with them. So those are just encouraging words that I always use, borrowing from this book. Because Gary actually brings out certain scenarios with different couples who have actually practiced encouraging words, and actually they have benefited a lot from their spouses. The other thing that is within the words of affirmation is kind words. Kind words, like a common one which many of you know is I love you. Mine is I call my wife, I call her honey, and I usually say I love you, honey. You're beautiful, you're the best. So those encouraging words, or let me call them the kind words. Those kind words, sorry. So when you use those kind words, they build the love tank. They increase the love tank in your marriage. So I encourage spouses out there, please practice some of these things, and they could also help you. Then the other one, which I can't leave out, is humble words. Let me give you an example of humble words. May I borrow your car? May I use your laptop? So you're trying to be humble. You're not taking your spouse for granted. In our vows, they told us, for better, for worse, all that I am, I give to you. All that I have, I share with you. It's true, but don't take your spouse for granted. If you're using her laptop without permission, you're abusing her right. So I encourage you to use those kind words. I mean those humble words. Humble words like, may I use your car? May I borrow your laptop? Those words are very important in a marriage relationship, and they will increase your love tank in your love relationship. Yes, love language number 2 is quiet time. Now, in quiet time, Gary Chapman actually says that we need to focus on about 3 things. He's talking about giving focused attention to your spouse. And then the other thing is actually working together in your relationship. So, focused attention. If your wife or maybe your spouse is talking to you, give them full attention. Don't try to do something else when your spouse is talking to you. I know it's nagging sometimes, but it's a discipline. Just take time to listen to your spouse, and that could actually increase your love tank in your marriage relationship. And then the other thing is try to read body language in your quiet time. As you're together, read body language. Maybe your wife is so stressed. Try to understand those body languages and respond appropriately. Maybe just say sorry, and your responses are based on the non-verbal communication that are coming from your spouse. So try to take advantage of this quiet time. And then the other thing he's talking about is, like I earlier mentioned, is working together as a couple. Just be there. You can wash plates together, Maybe you can clean the laundry together. Maybe you can, fix, the house together. Maybe paint the house together. So there are many things that different spouses can do together, and that is part of the quiet time. You're getting to share your feelings together. You might not actually say anything, but just being together. Playing football with your children, and going to the picnic together, for a picnic together. That is part of your quiet time. So Gary is encouraging us to observe some of these moments of quiet time, being together, understanding the non-verbal communication from our spouse, and getting to listen. And also the last thing that he's also trying to talk about in this quiet time, he says, let's not try to become problem solvers. No. If your wife is telling you about the problem at work, don't try to solve the problem. Just listen and say, we'll be fine. Just listen, be there with your spouse, and these things can work. Actually, they are working for me because my wife wants a lot of time. When she tells me some things, she actually doesn't want a solution, but she wants to talk. So I try my level best to listen to her, even when it's tough. And it has yielded good results for me in our relationship. Yes, so love language number 3 is actually receiving gifts. Yeah, so Gary Chapman has traveled around the world, and he has studied different cultures. And in that book, you'll actually find out that he has realized that love is attached with gifts in many cultures. And so we cannot rule out receiving of gifts. There are spouses whose love language is actually receiving gifts. Now, something that Gary has observed in gifts is actually, when you're giving gifts, it shows a symbol of love to some people. So a common gift that we know, of course, when they are tying the knot, is a ring. I give you this ring as a sign of my marriage. So a ring is a symbol of love. But that's a small, one of the smallest, symbols. But there are so many other symbols, like flowers. It could be a new car for your wife, maybe a new phone, maybe a new house. So you know what your spouse loves. So you need to take advantage of that love language, getting gifts for your spouse. Now, the other thing that he also has noted is I myself am a gift. So time, your wife needs you, you're a gift, he needs you, give your wife time, give your husband time. It's one of the things I deal with in my marriage. My wife requires my time. So I try my level best to give her the time she needs so that the love tank is always full. Acts of service is the 4th love language that Gary is talking about. And in acts of service, is actually talking about simple things that we do for our spouses. Simple, basic things. It can be, washing the dishes, or, cleaning the house, or, picking children from school, and many, many others. But as we do these acts of service, actually, Gary is saying that we should not make our spouse a doormat, but actually, we should make them teammates, like we should work together as a team. So let's not take advantage of our spouse just because your wife is a housewife, and every time she's cooking, so you expect food on the table all the time. Once in a while, we can put the plates on the table. We can actually cook food. I know how to cook. I don't know about you. You should learn how to cook. There are so many tutorials on YouTube about cooking. Teach yourself how to cook. You can cook rice, you can cook meat. There's so many dishes out there you can cook. So acts of service is one of those love languages that we should take advantage of. Let me tell you, you might not tell anything to your wife, but the love tank will always be up. One of the common things that I do, I myself, is lay the bed every morning. I do not leave my house without laying the bed, because I know when I lay the bed, everything will be well at the end of the day. So, there are small things, but very, very important. Don't leave your house without laying the bed. I hope I'm speaking to someone. Physical touch is the 5th love language that Gary Chapman is also talking about. Now, in physical touch, he's looking at issues like a hug, a kiss, and also conjugal rights in marriage. So these are things that we need to really work on as far as physical touch is concerned. And of course, with the ladies, of course, he has observed that ladies are basically emotional beings. Even the men are emotional beings a bit, but the ladies are really emotional beings. They really love touch. But all of us, our love languages are not the same, and of course, even the touch is not the same. There are people who are very who are not comfortable with certain ways they are touched. Some people don't like being tickled. Others don't like, just touching them anyhow. So we also have to be very careful how we use physical touch. We must understand what our spouses want. I personally don't like certain things like tickling. I don't like it. I don't like it. My wife knows it, and so she must tell me when, because I naturally don't like it. So I don't know about you. There are certain physical touches that some of us are very uncomfortable with, but at the end of it all, at least a hug can do, a kiss can do. So let's look out for more modest and decent ways to communicate to our spouses as far as physical touch is concerned. And I believe that your love tank will continue to remain up there, and you will really enjoy it. I personally am enjoying it. Physical touch has really worked for me. Of course, sometimes I'm a bit shy when I'm in public, but my wife really loves a handshake. She likes to be touched, to be hugged, and I'm getting used to it. Marriage is a journey. I'm getting used to it because my wife really loves to be hugged, walking with her, and touching her, so that she feels love. And I'm getting used to it, and everything is well. So go out there and practice the different physical touches, and get to study what your spouse really wants. And I believe all shall be well. Yeah, so what is my love language? I thought I needed to tell you my love language in general. Yeah, for me, my love language is words of affirmation. Yes, all the others, I enjoy them, but really the one that stands out for me is words of affirmation. In my marriage journey, I've also had a bit of some issues with my wife, but over time now she understands me. When she really affirms, gives me those encouraging words, especially when I'm trying to, pursue my dreams, in IT, in ICT, and when she has always encouraged me, I felt, my love was growing stronger for her. So she now understands me, and she really tries her level best to encourage me, and my skills have gone up, even in this lockdown, because of her words of affirmation, her encouraging words, her kind words. Really, my potential has gone up, and my love tank has gone up. So go ahead and search for this book, read it, and get to know what's your love language, and communicate with your spouse. And I believe over time you begin to understand each other, and you begin to communicate effectively in your love. So I wish you all the best. And maybe the other thing that Gary concludes with, actually, he says that love is a choice. There is so much, divorce going around, but love is a choice, let me tell you. Love is a choice. It's not just an experience. I'm in love. Yes, I've had those moments when I was in love, but over time now I understand that, it's a choice. God chose to love us. That common saying in John 3:16, good Bible readers, John 3:16, for God so loved the world, for God so loved. So we need to love. It's a choice. And love involves giving your best. So I have purpose to give my best to my wife, and I pray that you'll also purpose in this season to give your best to your spouse. So may the good Lord bless you in your marriage. Even those who are planning to enter the marriage institution, I wish you all the best. Don't give up. God is with you.